Teach me to be a rock star so I can save my brother. The boy said to Ozzy Osbourne, "What would you do if a 16-year-old stranger begged you to teach him how to become a rock star? Not for fame, not for money, but to save his dying brother's life?" Ozzy Osbourne's answer was simple: find the kid, learn the truth, and if his heart is real, set the world on fire for him. In the cold November rain of London, a worn-out envelope lands in the hands of a living legend. Inside it is a plea, a promise, and a question that will drag Ozzy Osbourne out of his quiet evening and into the life of a boy who sings in a warehouse to keep his little brother alive. Before we start this story, if you love Ozzy Osbourne, if you believe music can still save lives, then subscribe to our channel Voices of Darkness, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends. Help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers and prove your love for real rock and roll and real stories. Now, let's begin. The November rain didn't fall in drops that evening. It hung in the air, thin, cold gray, as if London itself was suspended between breaths. Inside a small cafe in Soho, the lights were low and warm. Old wood creaked beneath tired boots, the radio murmured something soft in the background, and a man in a black coat sat in the corner with a cup of tea growing colder by the minute. John Michael, Ozzy Osbourne. The world knew him as a madman of rock. A legend, a survivor. But tonight the stage lights were gone, the crowd was gone. It was just Ozzy, Sharon, and an envelope on the table between them. The envelope was creased, the ink slightly blurred. It had been opened, read, folded again as if the words inside refused to rest. Ozzy read it for the third time. "Dear Mr. Osbourne, my name is Jamie Patterson. I'm 16. I work nights in a warehouse in Manchester. I live with my little brother Danny. He's 8. He has spinal muscular atrophy. Tear stains had warped the paper. He can't walk. Soon he won't be able to breathe without help. The doctors say there are treatments, but the ones that could help him cost more than I could make in 10 lifetimes. $200,000. I know that's mad money. When I sing your song, Mama, I'm Coming Home to him, he forgets the pain for a while. He smiles. I don't want to be famous. I don't care about money for me. I just want to become good enough to sing, to play, to fill a room, to make enough to save him. Please, teach me how to become a rock star for my brother. I have no one else. If you can't, I understand. But I had to try." Jaime Ozzy swallowed hard. He'd seen thousands of letters in his life, adoring, unhinged, poetic, desperate. This one was different. There were no demands for selfies, no delusions, no make me famous nonsense. Just a boy asking for a chance to save his brother. Across from him, Sharon watched his face, her hands around her own mug. "When are you going?" she asked quietly. Ozzy looked up. He didn't have to ask how she knew. 40 years together did that. Tonight, he said, there was no drama in it. No speech, no plan. Just a certainty. Like a riff he'd played 1,000 times, but that still mattered. Sharon nodded once. "Then let's make some calls." Act 2. The Boy in the Warehouse. Cut to Manchester, Industrial District, midnight. Fog clung to the concrete like ghosts. Sodium lights flickered an ugly orange over stacks of crates and pallets. A warehouse loomed in the darkness, humming with forklifts' tired footsteps, and the dull ache of people working too many hours for too little pay. Inside, Jamie Patterson's arms burned. He hoisted another box, his shoulders trembling. 16. Too thin, dark circles under his eyes. High-vis vest, cheap boots, skin pale from lack of sleep, from worry, from counting coins instead of dreams. Every shift, $50. Every $50, rent, electricity, food, Danny's medications. Every remaining pound, if there was one, went into a jar hidden under a floorboard. A jar that whispered lies about $200,000. During his 10-minute break, Jaime slipped to a quiet corner behind the stacks. The other workers smoked, joked, scrolled their phones. He opened his backpack. Inside was a beaten notebook. Corners bent, pages nearly falling out, blue ink scars of late nights and held-back tears, song titles, half-choruses, lines scratched out and rewritten. "When the night steals your voice, I'll sing for you. When the pain dims your light, I'll burn for two." He didn't have a guitar. He didn't have a mic. He had YouTube tutorials in his earbuds and whispered melodies sung into the dark so he wouldn't wake Danny. Tonight he tapped his pen on the page and whispered, "I'll get you there, little man. I don't know how, but I'll get you there." The back door of the warehouse opened. Cold air swept in. Footsteps. Heavy. Steady. Deliberate. Not the careless stomp of a bored supervisor. Not the shuffle of another tired kid. Jamie Patterson, a voice said. Jamie froze. The accent. Familiar. Rough like gravel. Warm like mischief. He turned slowly. Black coat. Boots. Faded jeans. Glasses. A face the whole world knew. Ozzy Osbourne. The notebook slipped from Jaime's hands. Are you real? Jaime's voice cracked. Ozzy let out that unmistakable little cackle. I'm real, mate. Been called a lot of things, but imaginary ain't one of them. The boy just stared, eyes wide, lungs refusing to work. Ozzy reached gently and picked up the fallen notebook, brushing the dust from it. Mind if I sit? He asked. Jaime nodded quickly, heart smashing his ribs. Ozzy sat beside him on the crate. I got your letter, Ozzy said. Every word of it. And I'm here for one reason, to see if the kid who wrote this is just desperate, or if he's got something else. Jaime's throat tightened. I just want to save my brother. Danny's all I have. Our mom died when I was 12. My dad, he left. It's been just us. He's getting worse. I can't keep up. I thought if you became a rock star, Ozzy finished softly. Not for the cars, not for the houses. For him. Jaime nodded, shame burning his cheeks. It's stupid. I know, you're busy. You don't owe me anything. I just wrote it because when I sing your songs, he smiles, and I thought, stop, Ozzy said gently, one hand up. First of all, it ain't stupid. Second, don't you ever apologize for loving your brother. Third, he flipped open the notebook. Show me what you've got. Jaime hesitated, then pointed at a page. That one. I wrote that. The night they told me he'd lose his voice. Ozzy read silently. When the night takes your voice, I'll sing for you. When your lungs start to drown, I'll breathe for you. If the world turns away, I'll stay beside you. Because you're not just my brother. You're my reason to fight. Ozzy exhaled slowly. Jaime, this is real. The boy laughed nervously. It's messy. Rock and roll is messy, Ozzy said. It's not about perfect notes. It's about bleeding on the page. You did that? I can't even sing right, Jaime muttered. No training, no guitar. No time. I work. I cook. I clean. Ozzy leaned closer. Listen to me, kid. Being a rock star ain't about the stage first. It's about what you do when no one is watching. You're working night shifts, raising your brother alone, and still writing songs. You're already living with more heart than half the charts. Tears welled up. Jaime bit down on his lip. I can't lose him, he whispered. I can't. Ozzy's hand landed on his shoulder. Heavy, solid, real. You want to know the truth? Ozzy said quietly. I've done a lot of insane things in my life. A lot I ain't proud of. But I know this, music is the only real magic I've ever seen. And your love for that kid? That's the strongest riff in this room. He pulled a small black recorder from his pocket and set it on the crate. Tonight, Ozzy said, you're cutting your first track. Jaime blinked. What? Right here. Right now. You're going to sing that song for your brother. No auto-tune, no lights, no bullshit, just you, your heart, and this thing. I can't. My voice. Neither could I when we started Sabbath. Ozzy snorted. I was just screaming until someone went, yeah, that's a sound. A small broken laugh escaped Jaime. Ozzy clicked record. Sing, Jaime, he said. For Danny. Jaime closed his eyes. The warehouse sounds faded into a muffled hum. In his mind, he saw Danny's thin face, the oxygen tubes, the trembling hands, the smile that still appeared when Jaime hummed melodies in the dark. He started to sing. The first note cracked. The second wavered. But by the third line, the fear stepped aside for something bigger. He sang badly in all the right ways. Raw. Too loud. Too soft. Off-key. But every word came from a place deeper than pride. Ozzy felt the hair on his arms rise. By the time Jaime reached the final line, I'll sing until you can sing again. His voice broke entirely. Tears ran down his face, his hands were shaking, but he didn't stop. When he finished, there was silence. Then Ozzy clapped, slowly, intentionally. The sound echoed against concrete walls. Bravo, Rockstar, he said. That's your first recording. Jaime wiped his eyes angrily. It was terrible. Technically. Ozzy shrugged. Yeah, emotionally? It was fucking perfect. And that's what matters. Then his expression hardened slightly. Now I'm going to ask you for something, Ozzy said. Jamie tensed. Of course, nothing came free. What do you want? He whispered. Ozzy's eyes locked on his. Your promise, he said. Whatever happens, however hard it gets, even if the money doesn't show up, even if the doctors say there's no hope, even if the world turns its back, you do not give up. On him, on you, on this music, ever, understood? Jaime's chest heaved. I promise. Ozzy smiled. Well then, he said, let's get to work. 3 days later, Jaime's phone rang while he was changing Danny's bedsheets. Unknown number. He almost didn't pick up. Hello? A calm, warm female voice answered. Is this Jamie Patterson? Yes. This is Sharon Osbourne. He sat down. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, love, she said. Listen carefully. We're flying you and Danny to London this Friday. We've spoken to his doctors. A full medical team will be with you. He'll be safe. We've prepared something very special. London? We can't afford. You're not paying for anything, Sharon cut in. No nonsense. Just pack a bag. We'll handle the rest. When the call ended, Jaime stared at the phone like it might vanish. Danny watched him from the bed, eyes wide, unable to speak but full of questions. Jamie knelt beside him. You're going to meet Ozzy, he whispered. Danny's eyes flooded instantly. A tiny sound escaped his throat, more air than voice, but it was joy. Friday. The private jet's interior felt like another universe. Cream leather, soft light, the steady, soft beeping of portable machines. A nurse checked Danny's vitals. Then Ozzy appeared at the top of the steps. Come here. Rockstars, he grinned. He knelt in front of Danny's wheelchair, face softening. So you're the little warrior, Ozzy said. I've heard a lot about you. Danny's lips moved. No sound came out, but he smiled so wide it hurt to look at. Jaime's chest squeezed. On the flight, Sharon sat with them, explaining slowly, carefully. Tonight, she said, there's a small showcase in London. About 200 people, producers, musicians, industry folk. Ozzy wants you to sing your song there, Jaime. Jaime nearly choked. I can't. I'm a warehouse worker. Ozzy turned in his seat, raising an eyebrow. What did you promise me, mate? Jaime swallowed. That I'd never give up. This is step 1, Ozzy said, and you're not going alone. I'll be right there with you. We're doing it together. Jamie looked at Danny. The boys stared back, eyes shining, and gave the tiniest nod. Okay? His eyes said so. Jaime said it out loud. Okay, I'll do it. London, small venue, night. The club wasn't huge. Black walls, exposed pipes, low stage, decent sound system. But the people inside? Heavyweights, a quiet buzz of conversation. Glasses clinking, soft music over the speakers. Backstage, Jaime's legs wouldn't stop shaking. His cheap shirt and too big blazer looked out of place among polished outfits and designer shoes. His hands were clammy, his heart racing. The microphone waiting out there looked like an execution device. Ozzy stepped up beside him. Breathe, he said. I can't. Try anyway. Ozzy smirked. A stagehand signaled. Ozzy walked out first. The crowd erupted in applause. Whistles, cheers, he raised his hands. All right, shut up a minute, he chuckled. Tonight I'm not here just to scream at you lot. I'm here to introduce someone. 16 years old. No label, no training. Works nights in a warehouse. Spends his days taking care of his little brother with SMA. Kid writes lyrics that cut deeper than half the shad on radio. A murmur moved through the crowd. His name is Jamie Patterson, Ozzy said. And if you've forgotten what real music sounds like, he's here to remind you. Backstage, Jaime felt the floor tilt. Go, Sharon whispered. He stepped into the light. 200 pairs of eyes turned toward him. He wanted to bolt. Then he saw him, Danny. At the side of the stage in his wheelchair, headphones on, nurses nearby, tiny thumbs up. Jaime reached for the mic. Nothing came out. Ozzy moved beside him, put a hand on his shoulder. Sing for him, he whispered, nodding toward Danny. No one else matters. Jaime closed his eyes. He heard hospital machines. The click of pills. His own quiet crying at 3 a.m. The sound of Danny trying to laugh between breaths. The echo of Ozzy's voice in that warehouse. It's not perfection. It's connection, he began. The first line trembled, the second steadied. By the chorus, something broke open. He wasn't singing for the room. He wasn't singing for a deal. He was singing for the boy who watched cartoons in bed with tubes in his arms and still smiled. Ozzy joined in on a harmony, soft, gravelly, letting Jaime's fragile, cracked voice stay in front. The lyrics weren't polished. The melody wasn't perfect, but the entire room was silent. When he finished, there were 3 seconds of nothing. Then the place exploded. Applause like thunder. People on their feet, some wiping their eyes. Jaime stared, stunned. Ozzy hugged him. That, he whispered, his rock and roll. Backstage, the noise was still echoing when a man stepped forward. Late 40s, sharp eyes, worn leather jacket. Jaime, he said, offering a hand. I'm Martin Kemp. I've worked with more bands than I can remember. And I'm telling you right now, I have never seen a story or a heart like yours. I want to make an album with you. Jaime blinked. I can't pay him. Stop, Martin said. I didn't ask for your money. I'm offering you ours. You write. You sing, we handle the rest. Jaime turned helplessly to Ozzy. Is this real? Ozzy nodded slowly. It's real, mate. But there's more. Tell him, Sharon. Sharon stepped up. All proceeds from your album, she said, go into a fund for SMA treatment. Not just for Danny, for other kids. You won't just be singing to save one life. You'll be singing to save thousands. The room seemed to tilt. Jaime's knees buckled. He sank to the floor, hands over his face. The tears that wouldn't come for 4 years finally broke free. Danny's wheelchair rolled closer. With effort, the boy reached out, cupped his brother's cheeks. He couldn't speak. He didn't have to. Jaime pulled him into his arms. We did it, Danny, he whispered. We're not alone anymore. Across the room, Ozzy watched quietly, Sharon's hand in his. You gave him that chance, she murmured. Ozzy shook his head. He gave me one, he said. To remember why the hell I ever picked up a mic. The months that followed were not a montage. They were hard early mornings in studios, late nights rewriting lyrics, vocal lessons squeezed between hospital visits, interviews, nerves, setbacks. Jaime wasn't transformed overnight into a polished pop product. He stuttered on camera. He missed notes. He panicked. He doubted himself. He lay awake some nights convinced it was all going to vanish. Every time fear screamed that he was a fraud, he heard Ozzy's voice. Never give up. He kept that promise. The album came together like a stitched wound, raw, scarred but healing. 12 tracks about hospital corridors, whispered prayers, hand-me-down coats, broken sleep, machines humming in the dark, and love. Always love. The story spread. A boy from Manchester trying to save his brother with songs. Ozzy's secret trip. The warehouse recording. The London stage. People listened. They didn't hear perfection. They heard truth. Donations poured in. Profits rose. Doctors began treatment plans not just for Danny, but for other SMA kids, funded in part by a 16-year-old who refused to give up. Jaime left the warehouse, but he never left his brother. 1 year later, backstage at a mid-size venue in Birmingham, Jaime paced in circles, guitar strap over his shoulder now. His fingers were calloused, his voice stronger, his stage presence rough but real. He'd grown into himself. Tonight was special. Ozzy was in the crowd. Sharon too. Martin. The people who'd believed in him when he was just a kid with a letter and a broken pen. His phone buzzed. Unknown hospital number. His heart dropped. Hello? Jaime? It's Dr. Wallace. His veins turned to ice. Is it Danny? Is he? He's stable, the doctor said quickly. More than stable. We wanted you to know the first word he said. Jaime stopped breathing. What? There was a small laugh on the other end, emotional, disbelieving. He said your name, the doctor said. He said Jaime. The hallway around him blurred. He pressed his forehead to the wall, eyes burning. He spoke, Jaime whispered. He actually spoke. The treatment is working, the doctor said. It's slow, but it's real. He hung up. For a long moment, he just stood there. Then he dialed another number. Ozzy, came the familiar answer. He spoke, Jaime said, voice shaking. He said my name. He said, on the other end, silence. Then a rough exhale. Bloody hell, Ozzy muttered. Told you he's a fighter. Just like his brother. Hospital corridors had slowly been replaced by rehearsals, checkups, and growing signs of something close to a miracle. Danny's fingers moved more. His breathing strengthened. Muscles obeyed. One afternoon in a quiet therapy room, Danny pushed against the parallel bars. 1 step, 2, 3. Jaime fell to his knees, hands over his mouth, sobbing openly as the boy who'd once been trapped in a wheelchair shuffled toward him on shaking legs. I'm here, Danny gasped, voice small but there. Jaime gathered him in a hug. You always were. The doctors called it rare, unexpected, against the odds. Jaime called it music and medicine and miracles and a world of strangers who cared. A year later, the venue was bigger. Thousands of people. Lights blazing. Screens showing clips of hospitals, wheelchairs, studio booths, brothers laughing. Ozzy hugging Jaime, Danny taking his first steps. The crowd chanted Jaime's name. Backstage, Danny adjusted the in-ears in his now mostly steady hands. They're loud, he joked, voice still soft but clear. You ready? Jaime asked. I was born ready, Danny grinned. Ozzy walked in, a little slower but smiling. Look at you two, he said. Bloody rock stars. They walked out together. The crowd roared. Jaime stepped to the mic. 2 years ago, he began, voice echoing through the arena. I was lifting boxes in a warehouse and my brother was losing his voice. I wrote a letter to a man I never thought would read it. He did. And he showed me that real rock and roll isn't about fame. It's about standing up when life tells you to stay down. This song saved us, and everything you've given has helped save other kids too. He looked to the side of the stage. Danny, he called, come here. The arena watched as Danny walked out. Slow, careful, but on his own legs. The roar shook the walls. Jaime's voice broke. He used to listen to Ozzy to forget the pain. Now he's here with you. Because you cared. Because one mad legend got on a plane. Because none of us gave up. He turned to Ozzy. This one's for you, mate, Jaime said. For answering a letter when you didn't have to. They played the song. Jaime on lead, Danny singing a fragile harmony on one line. Ozzy joining them for the final chorus. 3 voices, 1 promise. No auto-tune, no fake. Just connection. Today, Jaime still walks on stage. Danny is always somewhere in the front rows, sometimes standing, sometimes sitting, but always free in a way no one expected him to be. The fund created from that first album, and the concerts that followed helps children with SMA across the world. Some get more time. Some get more comfort. Some get a chance they never thought they'd have. People ask Jaime how he became a rock star so fast. He always gives the same answer. I didn't, I just loved my brother loudly enough that someone heard. And somewhere, in the quiet between shows, Ozzy sits with Sharon, smiling at a photo of 2 Mancunian brothers on stage. World's gone mad, he mutters. But every now and then, it gets something right. Because sometimes the brightest stars don't live in the sky. They sit beside hospital beds. They stack boxes in night shifts. They write shaky lyrics in cheap notebooks. They kneel in cold warehouses with recording devices. They fly across countries to answer a stranger's letter. And sometimes when darkness gets too loud, voices of love sing louder. If this story touched your heart, if you love Ozzy Osbourne for more than just the madness, for the soul, for the humanity, for the way rock and roll can still save someone in the dark, subscribe to Voices of Darkness right now. Like this video. I share it with your friends. Help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers and prove your love for real stories, real music, and real hearts that refuse to give up. Because as long as there's one voice willing to sing for someone who can't, the darkness never really wins.